how Elon Musk is building up, how fast Elon Musk is building his following after the Twitter purchase.
And how do you compare Trump and Musk? Would it be a valid comparison?
What value does Elon Musk hold, left or right?
Who is Vajra Gate and why her crying at a Twitter staff meeting following the Musk buy become a news matter?
A Central Texas rancher offers Elon Musk 100-acre free land as Twitter's next headquarters.
An alumni of Wayne Cathy in Shanghai was found deceased at home with only one bowl of rice left.
Well, the pot knocking concert in Shanghai is becoming quite a phenomenon, and the government claim that it is agitated by the foreign forces. Welcome to Wei and Kathy Show. I'm your host, Wei Fang.
I'm Kathy Zhang.
As a matter of fact, we've got more than enough stories, new story today, and hope you can stay with us through the end. Mm-hmm. They are very important, representing important trend that's developing, especially in China, which we will be bringing to you at the end of the show. And in particular, today we have a feature story. Kathy actually interviewed a Texas rancher, and what did he do?
He offered 100 acres of free land to Musk and trying to entice him to move to the new headquarters to Texas.
And Kathy had him on the show, so we will be introducing this gentleman to you and to see, what type of person is this and why did he do that? Okay, but even before that, we got so many news to basically offer to you. It's since Monday's Elon Musk's acquisition of the Twitter, the news has been piling on every single day, okay? First piece of news, whether you took notice or not, on Monday, Elon Musk, as the ninth largest, Twitter account on the Twitter, and had 81 million followers. Kathy, do you know how many now?
How many?
89 million followers.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, he got 1 or 2 million new followers every single day.
Wow.
That would be the most robust, growth of the fan base in the history of the Twitter. And that's itself is quite a phenomenon. And the second, we reported to you yesterday that the Biden administration established a new disinformation governance board 2 days after the Twitter acquisition. And the Biden administration, the Homeland Security, and claim that they want to combat online disinformation. All right. So what did Elon Musk reply to that? Actually, there's a particular conservative commentator. His name is Steve Crowder. Okay, you may know him. And he said, do you remember who did this before? Oh, I remember Nazi Germans. Anyway, so Elon Musk replied to the comment by Steve Crowder. He said, discomforting. So remember, that was called a Disinformation Governance Board. Elon Musk replies that discomforting. What do you think? Okay, anyway, one topic we want to chat to today is who indeed is Elon Musk? Is he left? Is he right? Is he conservative? Is he liberal? Is he have no political affiliation? But he does have value, right? What is that value? Well, we'll try to answer this question. Okay. Before we answer this question, let me insert something. Okay, today I want to compare Elon Musk and Trump. Actually, I did that because I hear some comment on the Fox News, a commentator. Okay, and I cannot find her that program anymore. Let me just convey her word to you and see whether you think it makes sense. She said, Elon Musk and Donald Trump are the American hero that Americans really like because they are known for getting things done. Okay, they have a history of accomplishment, and they show strong commitment and they show the focus on the job, and they never give up. Okay, so Americans embrace them for their delivery, and they love that excitement of seeing getting things done. As a matter of fact, she said, buying Twitters is like a moonshot, only like 10 days ago. It is similar to the 1987, the Fairness Doctrine reversal. Kathy, do you know that? 1987, the Fairness Doctrine. And if you know about that, just type up there. And I do want to know that how many people know about that. So back then there was a law which says that any media, any public discourse host have to provide a fairness to the different opinion on different side. All right, so that largely limit the media's or the media host, media professionals' room of operation. So in 1987, at that time it was under Ronald Reagan's administration, the Congress back then reversed that fairness doctrine. So actually you are free to say whatever you want. And since then, one thing that happened is the popularity of the talk show radio across 100, 200, 800 radios across the country. So Rush Limbaugh grew out of that as well as Sean Hannity and all the conservative talk radio hosts. They really built big followings through the terrestrial radio, connected, networked terrestrial radio. And so basically, Elon Musk has sort of established a similar thing today. And as you know, Rush Limbaugh has 20 million followers per week, weekly followers. Elon Musk has 89 million. And former President Trump has 88 million before he was banned. That shows the strength and the power of a platform like this. Okay, so first, do you agree with me? Okay, President Trump and Musk, they are both viewed as the American hero that American people just like. That it just increases excitement in them. The second is both are disruptive, right? They disrupt the current order. They build new things, and it works. This is a second similarity. The third, I would say, they both look pretty handsome, don't you think?
Okay.
In Chinese, there's a saying that one's face is related to one's inner, the quality of the heart. Okay, it just corresponds. And largely it's true, not absolute. So both are look handsome. And then the fourth one, both like Twitter like crazy. Both tweet like 10 to 20 to 30 times a day. And then what's the difference between them? Well, Elon Musk seems to be more humorous. Although Trump he can be funny too, but Elon Musk, as he tweeted, he joked all the time. Let me read a couple to you. Maybe you already know. And he said, he tweeted yesterday, next, because has been buying Twitter, right? People are awed. And then, so he was tweeting that, next, I'm buying Coca-Cola to put the cocaine back in.
That's right.
Ha ha ha. Coca-Cola back then, the original ingredients have cocaine, right? And then now he's saying, let me just recover that. And the next tweet he said, I will buy McDonald's and fix all the ice cream machines. Do you think ice cream machines that bad? Okay. Anyway, Elon Musk reminded people and they made a bad name for the ice cream machine. I think McDonald's now is quite nervous about whether they're gonna keep that ice cream machine or replace it. Anyway, then he said, let's make Twitter maximum fun. All right. We'll see. Okay. Anyway, now let's come to the topic, right? Is Elon Musk on the left or is on the right? And he tweeted this morning. He said, the far left hates everyone, themselves included. But I'm no fan of the far right either. Let's have less hate and more love. All right. Okay. Now let's look at a chart, a graph that he posted yesterday. And this has been the topic of the many media today. And then let's take a look. So he just posted something. As you can see, it listed 3 years, right? 2008, 2012, and 2021. Back in 2008, when Obama first got elected, Elon Musk, he said, look at the little figure, okay, little figure in the middle. That's me, right? So he's slightly left to the center, okay? You got the liberals on the left and conservative on the right. 4 years later, Elon Musk did not make a move. And his fellow liberals was running to the left like crazy. And another 9 years later, if you take a look, conservatives stay the same, Elon Musk stayed the same, and his fellow liberal has run to the far left, and they have become a woke progressive, and it was shouting bigot to the rest of people. So without doing anything.
And you notice that for himself, he moved more during the process, he moved towards center than towards the right.
Right. Now,
it is because the left just becoming so extreme.
Yeah, so basically Elon Musk is saying that I didn't do anything. I did not move. I changed from left to the center, now to the right of the center. So that demonstrates his value, right? So if you still recall, I doubt you probably remember what is the political perspective or the value, and back in 2008, and he was slightly left to the center. Now he's defined clearly right to the center. So my comment, you want to hear my comment? A normal American, they're all on the right now. Not because they did anything, they didn't do anything. Because of the left run all the way to the extreme left, so you position everybody, every normal person on the right. So do you agree? Do you agree or not? So that pretty much tell who Elon Musk is, right? I think he's trying very hard to tell everybody who he is. And he also try to tell everybody what the country is like today.
And what he wants to, want the Twitter to be like.
Right.
Yeah, he says something like, if the 10% far left and 10% far right can talk, right, can all express on this platform.
No, he said they cannot. He wanted to take care.
He wanted to.
Yeah, he wanted to take care of the 80% in the middle.
Right.
All right. And so today, actually, yesterday he tweeted this. He said, for Twitter to deserve public trust, it must be politically neutral, which effectively means upsetting the far left and the far right equally. All right. So basically, that's his point of view. And do you agree? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you dislike it? Just leave your comment, and we want to hear how you think. And so as we wait for your comment, let me look at. Let's tell you another story. So we all know what's the political standing of Twitter, right? If it were not be that way, Elon Musk would not have come to buy it. Okay, so but today we want to open up the hood and take a look inside the Twitter, and indeed, where does it standing? So in particular, I want to introduce to you a person, and her name is called Vijaya Gate. Vijaya Gate. Vijaya Gate is Indian American. Okay, she's a 48-year-old, and she's attorney. Okay, she's the top attorney at Twitter, and is the head of the Twitter's legal, policy, trust, and safety. Okay. And so she cried during a staff meeting Monday while discussing the significant uncertainty that Musk's leadership will bring. So which become a news event, news matter now. So people are just reporting, why did she cry? So first let me tell you what she did at Twitter. She made the decision to block Trump's account following the January 6th event. And then she also she subsequently also blocked a number of conservative accounts. And then she also made the decision to block the link to the article of the New York Post on the Hunter Biden's laptop. This is in October 2020, if you remember, half a month before the election, and she just blocked that the link to those articles. There were 2 articles. And then she also decided to block the Twitter account of the New York Post itself entirely. Then later, I think that got reversed, but she made a decision to do the blocking. She also made the decision of to penalize the misinformation. I don't know what it is, misinformation about the COVID-19, and also the hate crime, which I don't know what it is. She also made the decision of for Twitter not to accept any political ad in the 2019. And because of that, she was viewed by the employees, per the media report of the mainstream media, that she was viewed as the moral authority at Twitter. So basically, she has tremendous amount of power. She made a decision, and then even the Jack Dorsey dare not reverse or cannot reverse. I don't know what's the detail, because when she was blocking New York Times reported to the Hunter Biden's laptop, Dorsey came out saying that that's not appropriate. But Dorsey did not dare to, did not reverse her decision of the, lockdown or just block the Twitter account of the New York Post itself. Remember, New York Post is a media that has over 200 years. It's the oldest media in this country, oldest newspaper in this country. That's how powerful and she is. All right, and so in 14, she was described by the Fortune magazine as the most powerful woman on Twitter's executive team. In October 2020, Politico profiled her as the most powerful technology executive that you have ever heard of. All right? So that's, and indeed, let's take a look at who she is. Okay, she migrated to United States when she was 3-year-old, and in 1974. And her father came here as an Indian graduate student. So she described that when her father was soliciting insurance in the Beaumont, Texas, which is a city to the corner of the eastern corner of Texas near Louisiana, when her father was soliciting selling insurance, and he has to get the permit from the KKK, the Ku Klan Klux, right? I think I said it right. And then because of that, she made a determination to become a Ku Klux Klan. I'm sorry, I'm an immigrant, okay, American, okay? So I'm not so familiar with things that you are very, very familiar with, but allow me. So because of that experience, that inspired her to become an attorney. Okay, then she went to Cornell University to get her labor industry and then a labor relationship, something like that kind of degree. Then later she went to New York University to get her law degree. So she went to work for a law firm in Silicon Valley, then work for the, J.D. Edward or Jupiter Network. And then finally she went to Twitter, okay, become what she is. So, yeah, so basically what happened yesterday is somebody was just tweeting that how she blocked the New York Post article, okay? And Elon Musk expressed his opinion.
The Hunter Biden laptop
Hunter Biden
story.
Elon Musk said suspending the Twitter account of a major news organization for publishing a truthful story was obviously incredibly inappropriate. That was what Elon Musk tweeted on a Tuesday evening. So that created a big uproar. The mainstream media just jump on it saying that Elon Musk may want to force those high executive away by saving the severance package. Because if they fire them, he has to pay. And I don't know where this story comes from. They just dance around this story and find all kinds of, expert comment on that. It's a non-existent story. As a media professional, I don't do that. I know it's just against the cardinal rule of a media professional to even do that, but that's what they did.
Just wonder how they report on the story of Twitter overstating the daily users for 3 years straight. How do they explain that?
Yeah, so that's the story. So basically, may I just add my comment here? Okay, and this lady, Vijera Gate, okay, pretty much she's a new immigrant. Okay, she's the immigrant's daughter. And then apparently she went to Cornell in the 1990s, right? And then went to New York University. And I think young people like her, okay, grew up in the public school, then grew up in the, this Ivy League school, the elite school, and then pretty much accept all those indoctrination of the liberal, the progressivism and the liberalism. So, because the school is already all become the very left-leaning, and then they just brainwash such young people into who they are today, and then now they become the mainstay of our society.
Yeah,
control a lot of power.
Yeah, this only reflects how the education system being, some people say it's hijacked, right, by the liberal extreme left.
Yeah.
So she's just only one example. We also have Chinese American audience, right? They share with us how sad they are because they spend so much money to send their kids to Ivy League school, and they turn out to be their enemy, right?
Yeah. So they pretty much they feel that they lost their kids. And also, let's just think about here, okay? This lady, Miss Gate, okay, she blocked so many accounts. She heard so many accounts. Years of build-up got just blocked there. Nobody blocked her. She just been blocking other people. And then now when the Twitter changed hand, what does she got to cry for? Nobody. She just crying over for losing the power of blocking more people. If you ask my opinion.
Yeah, today I just had a Chinese radio show, live broadcasting 2 hours ago. We also talked about the Twitter story, right? And one of our audience listeners called in, and she just said it's not just mind-boggling for her. He said some of the Twitter employees saying that because Elon Musk bought the company and that they just wanted to leave. And she was like, what they are thinking about. She just couldn't understand. And she's saying, on the other hand, if they want to leave, let them leave. Because to return Twitter to, a free speech platform, you probably don't need this type of employees. But it was really bothersome for her to know some of the Twitter employees just, she said, what do they think their job as working in a social media company? And that's, she really raised a very good question.
Yeah, so that's that. So we now we know who put the trigger inside Twitter and how she felt. And she's crying. I don't think she should cry. I think other people should cry instead. So she probably no longer have that power. I think that's that's the right thing to happen. And but what I really feel about is our public schools, right? Our kids, they grew up, they don't know, they never understand or recognize what is a communism. They just they just absorb it and they become who they are today. And that's not good for our country. That's not good for our future. That's not good for their future. So we really need to. So in my Chinese show, I really tell my audience, just take care of your kids. Take care of your kids. Get involved in the school district. Run for a school board. And do what you can. You don't have to speak perfect English. Even I'm doing my English show here. Okay, just if you have enough English to convey your meaning, just get involved in the school district. Fix our school. Do you agree?
Yeah, talking about that, we have one of our audience saying Elon Musk should now start a virtual school for kids, kindergarten through college.
Hey, good idea.
Yeah, a lot of needs for that.
Right.
And Louis said we know all the major platforms are partnered with the government. They influence the election, they censor and silence those they did not like. They are scared because the truth always comes out. Yeah, and Elon Musk said, right, he said that the true freedom of speech is let the person you don't like say the things that you don't like.
Yeah.
That means free speech.
Mm-hmm. All right, so with the Elon Musk, he's just unfolding things every day. He's just nonstop drama every single day. So we got enough things to talk about literally every single day. But anyway, we'll have to stop here. Now let's talk about what the Texas rancher is doing about Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's still about Elon Musk, right? I think he just energized a lot of people. So one Central Texas rancher on Tuesday tweeted, what he tweeted, Elon, moved to Twitter to Schweitzer, Texas, 38 miles north of Austin, and we will give you 100 acres for free. Is he serious about it?
Is he?
Yeah, so I was just so curious, and today I did an interview with Mr. Jim Schweitzer, who tweeted this on Tuesday. So it's after I talked to him and read more about him, and it's quite amazing person. So I need to just give some introduction of Mr. Jim Schweitzer. I think maybe some of our audience are not familiar with him. So Jim Schweitzer is the president and CEO of Schweitzer Farm Inc., which runs Capital Land and Livestock, which is one of the largest cattle dealer in the United States. And the town of Schweitzer is an unincorporated town in Texas, which was established by her great-grandfather in in the year of 1900. All right. So his great-grandfather, Adolph, came to Texas in 1875 from Europe, And over the past 150 years, the family has grown its legacy from 200 acres of black dirt to over 20,000 acres of improved pasture land. His great-grandfather, Adolf, founded the town of Sweetener in 1900, and Jim's parents started one of the first public cattle auctions in Austin when they married in 1946. So the auction business just grew, but actually, young Jim Sweetener found himself increasingly interested in aviation and became an aviator. So now, Jim is actually, he's a rancher, of course, that's his real job, but he's also an airline transport pilot. And he was a former regent of Texas A&M, director of National Business Aviation Association, and he's also the Wright brothers' master pilot.
Oh, sounds like a very passionate pilot.
Yes. So, yeah, and without further ado, I will just present to you my interview with Jim Sweetener. Jim, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Texas cowboy.
Right, so Jim, I think the first question people would ask you right now is, has Elon Musk replied to you?
Not yet, but it's been only 2 days, so I'm sure he'll call me.
Yeah. So where did you come up with this idea of gifting him the 100 acres of the land for Twitter to move over to Texas?
Well, we own 20,000 acres of land in the greater Sweetener Metroplex, which is just north of Austin. And, I really like his idea of buying Twitter because he wanted to uncensor and have freedom of speech. This county is a home of immigrants, mainly from Europe in the 1800s, and they left Europe in the 1800s, most of my ancestors, because to get away from tyranny and controlling of speech. And I know that Elon Musk is an immigrant from South Africa, and I just thought, what better place than to come to Williamson County, just north of Austin, where we're very conservative. We believe in free speech. You may not agree with me, and I may not agree with you, but I believe that one reason our nation is so polarized right now is one side won't listen to the other. And I think we can learn a lot from each other if we don't censor our dialogue. And so I'm a big freedom of speech person, so is my family. And I thought it would be great to give back to the community up here, to donate some land and have Elon come up here.
Wow. So when did you start to have this idea? It just pop up, or you have been thinking about since he has, during the past month?
Well, our family has always had a history of giving back to the community. I believe that every big corporation, and we are a big company, we're the largest cattle broker in America, should give back to their community. And when I started learning about Elon buying Twitter, or trying to buy it, I thought, if he does get it done, which I didn't have any doubt that he would get it done. He usually does what he says he's going to do. He's a good business person. I thought, why not do my part and give back to the community and bring more people up in this area that can have good jobs, good education, and we have a good workforce up here. And secondly, Austin has gotten, the standards of living, the cost of living has gotten so high. People are moving north because of affordable housing. And we have a lot of land up here, and we have affordable housing, and we have a lot of people willing to work hard, and they're smart people. We also have two colleges real close to us, higher education. Texas A&M University, just right down the road, which I was on the board of regents of for 6 years, and we have the University of Texas in Austin. So we've got the talent and the job pool here, and so this is where it's at. And I'm sure that's why Elon moved from California to Texas. Also because we have lower taxes than they do in California and fewer regulations. Texas is a business-friendly community. And Elon, being such a good business person, I'm sure he saw the opportunity and seized on it.
So it's not, your idea is not merely like just a statement. It's you really thought it through.
Yes. And I want to give back to the community. The community, Texas has been great to the Schwertner family, and I want to return it back.
So you try to steal Twitter from San Francisco then?
Yeah, as long as I get my daughter Samantha and my son Jimmy to help me, I do it right with the hashtags, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm not a dinosaur yet. I'm still learning.
Yeah. How about your daughters? Your children. Think of this idea.
Oh, they love it. And I've taught my children how to give back, and they understand that. And they think it's a great idea. It's good for the community. Anything you can do to help your fellow man or your community in your successful business, you should give back. And that's something a lot of big businesses don't think about anymore. They want to be too political, but they don't want to give back. I'd rather be quiet about my politics and just give back to the community.
How do you think of the chance of him come to Schwerner?
Well, he's got 3 businesses here already. He's got SpaceX, which is in Texas now. He moved from California with Tesla. He's got the largest manufacturing plant in the world here in Austin, Texas now. And then he's got another company called Boring Company that is in Pflugerville, Texas, which is in Williamson County, my county. And I just felt like this is just the next part of his equation to come up here. And what better way to entice someone than give them 100 acres of land for free? I've never met Elon, but I'd like to meet him. But I can tell how aggressive he is. I can tell he's a true capitalist. And he makes things happen. And I think his chemistry and our chemistry with me would work together. He's an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. And I'm 4th generation rancher and businessman. I've owned 2 banks in Central Texas. So I understand about business and high finance and technology, and I just thought we'd be a good fit.
Have you been on Twitter?
I have. I've been on Twitter for about 12 years. I don't tweet that much. I have to get my young kids to help me because I'm a little older. They're better in technology, but I do look at it a lot. And I've noticed over the years there's been a lot of people that have been censored. And, I don't believe in censor. I believe in freedom of speech. And that's what our country was made on. That's why you see all of these immigrants coming across the border, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. They want to come to the home of the brave and land of the free. And that's what America's about. And so I'm all for Elon.
People, especially the liberal left, they are criticizing him and taking a public forum into private, and some people do have some concern, for it to become a private company. So, what's your perspective on that?
America's all about capitalism. That's why we're so successful. And the reason some people are scared of this is because they don't want other folks to hear the other side. You may be liberal or you may be conservative, but I need to hear your point of view. And I really do believe that's why America is so polarized right now, is because we've been censoring one side or the other. And in a free society like America, we should never do that. You may not agree with me, I may not agree with you, but let's talk and listen to each other. No telling what we can accomplish.
Maybe just tell us, our audience, a little bit more about yourself. During these years, why do you think our country becomes so polarized? Just based on your experience.
Well, I was born and raised here. I'm a 4th generation rancher. Our family's been in business since 1877, and again, there are immigrants that came here because they believed in freedom. I was born here. My father was in World War II and fought for this country, for their freedom. And I don't know why our country has gotten where it's okay to censor someone or cancel someone out. But I think that's wrong. And I think that's a small minority of folks that are doing that. I think the majority of Americans, no matter where you live, if you're on the left or the right, you feel like I do. Let's sit down and have a dialogue. That's the most important thing we can do to make sure this nation is strong forever.
And how do you think of our current administration just launched a new board, to administer the misinformation?
I don't understand it. The only thing I can surmise is they are afraid for the other side opinion to get out, which may or may not be truthful. But when you start talking about disinformation, what does that mean? I may not agree with. If I look at the blue sky, I may say it's dark blue, and you're saying it's light blue. Well, so what? That's not disinformation. Just because I don't believe what you believe doesn't mean you're wrong. And I don't know how that got started. It may have gotten started in some of these universities. But this cancel culture is poison for this country, I believe.
And what's your viewpoint on the companies, whether it's a public company or private company, in the midst of this polarization, how the business people and the corporations should position himself or itself?
I think this globalization theory is not good. I think we need to be all rowing the boat for Americans, no matter where you live. We used to have a slogan in America, "Buy American." Now, I understand this world has gotten a lot more productive in other parts of the world, but at the same time, we're all Americans, and we should believe in our country first. And I just don't like this denigration of an American. We all come from different parts and different walks of life, but these corporations that are trying to cancel other folks, they're going to lose in the end. You can see what's happening with some of these companies like Disney and Netflix. It appears to me that the consumer is not liking this, and you see what's happening in the stock market in those companies that are trying to be part of the cancel culture. It's just not good. I don't think businesses should get involved in politics, first of all. I think businesses should provide the goods and services the consumer wants, and then let the consumer decide who has the best products, not whether I have a different opinion on policies or politics. That's just not good for our country.
The border has been a lot of concern for a lot of people in the states like Texas, California, Florida. So what's your perspective on that?
I know why people are coming to America, because it's the greatest place on the planet. And they want to be free. They're coming from places with tyranny and don't have free speech. I understand. But without getting political, I think we should have an organized legal process. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm not against people coming in from other countries. My family did 4 generations ago. Because, again, this is the home of the brave and land of the free. But we cannot take the whole world here. And that's the problem. We've got to pace ourselves and do it the right way and the smart way.
How has the border issue impacting yourself and your company yet?
It hasn't impacted me directly, but I am concerned about folks that are coming in that we don't know who they are, as far as if they're violent or, former criminals. I mean, I believe in human nature, but at the same time, I want to have people that want to come here that want to be productive and good citizens and give back like I am.
Right. And so, let's go back to the issue of free speech. How do you think Elon Musk's buying of Twitter, what kind of a significance do you think it plays?
I've never met him, but I've read about him, and I know he's an immigrant from South Africa, and it appears to me that, and he said this, that he bought it because he believes in free speech. And that's what we've got to have. We shouldn't have any kind of censorship at all. Again, whether you believe in what I say or I listen to you, we need to sit down and have a dialogue. That's what made this country so great. Our founding fathers that put together the Declaration of Independence, it took them a while because they had different views. They came from different parts of America, but they hammered it out, and it's still the best document on the planet.
And what do you think of the direction our country, the status we are right now, and the direction is going? Some people are very worried, but some people, maybe still think we are okay. So, how's your perspective?
I'm not worried, and the reason I'm not worried is, first of all, we have a great country here. We have a great military, and there's been many times in America where we've been polarized, and then this country gets into crisis, like 9/11, like World War II. Everybody comes together, joins hands to protect this country we love and our freedom. So I'm not worried about that. This country will come together when it's time.
And where do you think your confidence come from?
I think my heritage, and also being a Texan. Texans, they're pretty independent. They've had to be to survive. And we're always fighting something in Texas, the elements, the markets, different politics. But Texas, for the most part, is pretty conservative. And when I say conservative, I don't mean exactly politically conservative, but just we respect each other and have core values. And that's the key, having core values, taking care of your family and your community. And that's really, really important to me. So that's how I got my values. I learned that from my parents and my grandparents.
Yeah, and anything else you would like to share with our fellow Americans in our audience?
Just call me. I'm ready.
All right. Really appreciate, Jim, you take my interview and share with us.
Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate it.
All right, so that's Jim Switner.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you like him, this cowboy, Jim?
Yeah, you notice their sign is a little town, big heart.
Okay.
So yeah, let's see if Elon Musk will respond and maybe turn this 76-year-old farm to a tech headquarters.
If he responds, for sure, it's going to be a new story we'll be reporting. Okay, before we move on, Larry, Hank, and thank you very much for your donation. Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. So we have to bring you the update of what happening in China. Okay, it will be potentially very significant. So we have to keep the heartbeat reporting there. So Kathy, what's the story?
Okay, first of all, it's with a heavy heart we report to you that actually we learned that a Fudan University alumni for both Wei and myself, she was class 89, class of 89, English major, passed away at home in Shanghai on April 7th. So she was supposed to come downstairs to do the nucleic acid test, but she didn't show up. So people went to her home and found she passed away on the floor. And the sad thing is that there's basically no food left in her apartment except for a bowl of rice. And her classmates were talking about she had a hypertension, and they thought maybe, in case she would have some problem without, out of the medicine, right? Mm-hmm. But it looks like it's not because of her hypertension. It's because of lack enough food, probably.
Just unbelievable. Just so you know that Shanghai is the most fluent city in China, and the Fudan University is one of the top. It's like China's Harvard or Stanford University. So I graduated from that school, and she's well educated and intellectual, and And
with the English major at that time,
Yeah.
you have to be top
just,
students.
Just imagine, cannot find food these days. This is what's happening in China, okay? And the entire reason is because the Xi Jinping, the General Secretary, want to insist that his policy of a clear zero COVID is right.
Yeah, and now
Just because of that.
Yeah, people in Shanghai, also in other cities, they had enough. So what are they doing now? Let's take a look at this video clip.
看看啊，我们的小区现在已经没有不吃的啊，没得吃的了。这是老百姓在那里。
Listen to what's in the background.
领导来了啊，是领导来了啊，这是领导啊，这是我们老百姓已经关了1个多月了啊。你看看啊，这是领导在外面啊，你看看这老百姓。
This is called the public or open revolt.
Yeah, they are just knocking the pots.
Yeah.
We have no food. We have no food. So this does not only happen in China, also in other parts of China, not only in Shanghai. And some people just parade with knocking their pots. So this is called something like a mobile concert. But then, how do you think the government treated it? Let's take a look at this video. They had another announcement during the night. We shared with you how they did announcement, how initially people are screaming. Shanghai people are screaming at night, right? And then they had an announcement at night saying, you should control your soul for yearning for freedom. Right? And then people are not having any voices at all because they have this drone circling around surveillance on people.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever had a shouting, they will, take
Yeah.
you away.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, what's the government's move?
居民朋友，现在有一个通告，据有关部门通告，境外势力在鼓动中国居民敲锅抗议或游动音乐会。这项活动是境外人员篡锅指使的阴谋，让大家明辨是非，通过正确的途径反映合理的诉求，不要给境外势力机会，谢谢配合。
When watching this, I just cannot help to kind of laugh, right? It's so sad, but it's laughable. They are talking about these type people are knocking on their pots because they want to show, we have no food, we need food. And the government saying, hey, you know what? This is this type of knocking the pots and doing the mobile concerts are agitated by the foreign forces. And that's their cliche of every time they do, right? Anything that it's not agree with the government, they would say that's anti-Chinese foreign force behind it. So again,
Yeah, let me just translate in some even more plain language. Whenever something like this happen, just blame the Americans. Americans, people like you must have agitated them to do that. That's what they say every time. Okay, that's just ill-intended Americans who try to instigate instability inside of China, and so that's how they get away from their responsibility.
and they also try to shift the focus from its own crisis towards the targeted enemy.
Yeah.
So that they can secure their own position. That's what Chinese Communist government always been doing for the past decades.
Yeah. So Jim Novak, you said, excuse, how stupid are those authorities? The people are hungry. What clowns? Yes, exactly right. What I really want to highlight here is the correction. Remember, 25 million people are starving in Shanghai. Whether you are a millionaire or even multimillionaire, you could starve to death these days, literally. Okay, and then there's no way to correct this. Can you see that? Because the order, the directive, the order of a clear ending, COVID or another Omicron, ending flu, essentially, is given by the supreme leader. Okay, he has to prove he's right. So even though the Omicron is so infectious, 10 times as much, but the damage and harm is so little, and then the course cannot be changed. Otherwise, the supreme leader will be humiliated. He cannot bear with that. So he has to prove his right. So this absurdity in Shanghai, you can have tons of money, you can still starve to death, cannot be corrected. It will just continue on until who knows. In my view, it even could continue until the collapse of the entire system.
Yeah, and now what they do to the Shanghainese people who has been locked down for over 1 month, take a look at the next video.
你们这样不对啊！你们把我们都要电死在里面，我们已经归零了，你们还要把我们圈起来？你看还要弄这个铁丝网，把我们当集中营了。这里，你们用这个力气这样做，还不如弄一点菜给我们支援我们。看看那都圈起来了，都在加工，还要通电了。
So that's what's happening in one of at least one of the districts in Shanghai. The residents were circled by the electrified barbed wire. So the resident was just so angry, saying that you're treating us like a concentration camp. And they said, we need food. If you have such efforts, you spend all those money and efforts to circle us with those electrified wire fences, why don't you give us some vegetable? So that's what people, how they are treating people right now, and how people are trying to fight back.
Yeah.
And another one, I just cannot, I never seen this type of, it's a blade net fence. Take a look.
昨日一夜天哦，阿拉窗台前头突然之间，侬看拿围墙全部立起来了，阿拉一上楼全部封脱了。因为阿拉楼里向有2个阳性，后面全部封脱，就拿阿拉一幢大楼，对伐？搿样子勿是讲了难听点哦，假使碰到点火灾或者哪能哦，车砸掉了进来。现在个政府哪能采取搿种措施？啥意思？
Yeah, so the lady actually is speaking in Shanghainese, and they said over the night, the whole building was, including the back door, front door, and their balconies, all just circled, locked down by those blade fence. Do you see that? It's not just a regular barbed wires.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she just said, how come the government just use such kind of policy? I just don't understand it to my life,
Yeah, so let me explain it to you. If she's here, I can explain to her that why the government doing this kind of absurd things, okay? Because the government's overriding, the party's overriding priority is to prove Mr. Xi Jinping is right, okay? By completely control and isolate the COVID cases, they can kill and starve to death the Omicron virus. So that's the overriding priority. And as they drive towards that destination, however many people died of hunger, however people died of illness because they cannot enter the emergency room of the hospital. Mind you, 95% of the Shanghai hospitals' emergency room are closed. There's no emergency room that it can go to. Okay? And then no matter how many deaths, it would not affect the goal of the party, which is to prove the supreme leader, his policy on COVID is right. How absurd it is true. If this country, America, become, taken over by the communists, that's what we'll be living through 20, 30 years down the road. But just showcase this to you now, and then making us realize that what we should do to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, and another thought is that actually the Chinese government is, really kind of training its people, right? I do what you do what I say, and I just wire you, I just lock you down. But then, once they just give you a little bit, like freedom, and then you would be like so thankful, so grateful to them, and you are in total control of the authority. So yeah, IHCP said it's a razor wire. Yes, that's a good description. It's a razor wire, and so yeah, and that's like really going through another round of the Cultural Revolution, as some of you noted, and also the Great Leap, right? Just recently, 1 or 2 days ago, the Supreme Chinese CCP leader saying we need, under such condition, they said we need to raise our GDP more than United States, something like that, right?
Yeah, surpass the GDP, because to prove that Chinese socialism is superior to that of America. So, those kind of agenda drive the action of the government at the expense of the people. This has been happening time and again throughout the last 7 decades. Okay, I guess that's all for today, right? So, Hollis, you asked about the joke. I don't have any joke, but I don't want to end this show with such a heavy heart. Okay, let's talk about some story. I can explain to you in 3 minutes that why California will become bankrupt while Texas will not.
Okay.
Okay, so basically the story goes like this. One day, the California governor was jogging with his dog on the field path, okay? And then suddenly a coyote jumped out of nowhere and started attacking the governor's dog and the governor. The governor tried to stop the coyote at first, but then the second thought came to him. He thought it was in the coyote's nature to attack. So he said, maybe I should tolerate this. So he did not stop the coyote. Well, needless to say, the coyote bit to death his dog and then also hurt the governor. So the governor called, animal control. The animal control sent someone to capture the coyote and send the state a bill. The bill cost $200 for the disease check of the coyote, and then another $500 for the coyote rehoming expense. Then the jogging path was closed for 6 months, while the California Department of Fish and Game conducted a survey to ensure that there was no other dangerous animal in the area, which would cost $100,000.
Wow.
The governor then organized a wolf or coyote awareness program among the local residents, allocating $50,000 from the state fund. The legislature created $2 million research project on how to better treat rabies and how to eradicate the disease from the world. The government's security guard was fired for failing to protect the governor. Okay, so the state spent $150,000 to search and rehire a new agent and put him through a lot of special training, such as coyote's nature.
I wonder, did they hire a consultant company to do the research?
Before they hired the agent, right? Anyway, so the people from Ethical Treatment of Animal, ETA, protested the coyote's relocation and they sued the California government for $5 million in damage.
And it was settled.
All right. Okay. The Texas governor also was jogging in the field with his dog when the coyote suddenly jumped out of it and tried to attack the governor and his dog. The governor just pull out his government-issued handgun and shoot the coyote and continue jogging. Okay, the cost of his .38 caliber bullet was 50 cents, and the coyote carcass was eaten by the vulture. The vulture was flying there. So now this is the reason why California will go bankrupt and the Texas will not.
Okay.
Can that be a little joke? Anyway, I hope this put in a little bit, more upbeat ending for today's show.
I hope the animal protection organization won't protest.
Yeah. Then that will cost a lot of legal defense on way, and then they have to spend quite a bit of legal money too, which will expedite the bankruptcy of the California.
Yeah, well, so it's a disclaimer that this is a joke, all right?
And Mark Sommer says, yep, that's my California, exactly. What I'm telling is not too far from truth. If there's something like that happen, right?
Right.
I'm not completely making things up. This is how absurd, okay? We don't have any common sense. This country does not need any special secret of how to say rescue itself. Just need common sense. Let's just use common sense. All right, thank you very much for staying with us tonight, and glad to have you. You're with us, and again,
Yeah,
thank
I'm
you.
glad that made Larry happy too, because otherwise he will make us sing.
Yeah. And also Hollis, yeah, the reason why we do this show is to make you happy, right? Okay, so we try to fulfill that, and just fulfill our duty. Okay.
All right.
Good night.
Yeah, thank you for being with us.
Yes.
Yeah, and take care.
Have a great weekend, and see you next time.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.